Hello and welcome to another installment of Paranormal Q&A with Jack, Kenna, and Carly Hall. Say hello, Carly.
Hi.
And my damn sound kicked out again.
Oh no!
So Carly, what I'll do, I'll let you, we have two guests tonight, awesome guests tonight, and I'll let you introduce them, read their bio and introduce them for us while I fix this problem.
Awesome. So everybody, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. Thank you for watching. So today we have our awesome friends, Jerry and Melissa Keller. They formed a team, Jot Nix Paranormal, and it was founded in 2008. They've been together for almost 34 years and have 2 daughters and 3 grandbabies. Over the years, they studied and researched the paranormal field by reading, investigating, and researching various well-known cases. They use the standard techniques and equipment along with divination. I don't claim to know everything, which is good. Our field knowledge in the paranormal field, knowledge is power. You must know the terminology, know the history and background of the field and the cases you will work on, and know and believe in your equipment that you use. Above all else, be honest and truthful. In 2019, they became the paranormal directors of the Haldeman Mansion. In 2020, they were asked to be the resident team at Boobies Brewery. Oh my goodness, English is not my thing today. Boobies Brewery in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania. They schedule and book special guests and lead 2 public investigations a month for the public to be able to come in and see what it's really like to investigate. They allow them to use their equipment or bring their own, and they allow them to take over with supervision, which is important. They also book private overnight investigative teams to come in and explore the Central Hotel along with the Catacombs. The Catacombs are 43 feet underground. That's impressive. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So these
guys...
No. We got it.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead.
You want to bring them up?
Oh, yeah.
I finished. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't tell me you were done. Well, without further ado, here's Melissa and Jerry. There you are.
Hi.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
We're good.
We're great.
Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you.
We've been down to your place a couple times here, down to Holderman Mansion a couple times with you guys, and we always have a good time when we're down there, and always catch some really cool stuff and stuff like that. But we haven't had you on the show yet, and glad to have you on because I've been wanting to do it for a while, and
yes,
scheduling can be a pain because we don't have people on every single week, so we take breaks in between. So you're our favorite people for this month.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you for having us, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you on. And our show works a little bit different, I think, than most do. We get questions from the audience. We try to answer their questions as best we can, but we also give you guys a chance when we have guests on to talk about yourselves, what you've got going on, what you do, and what you've been up to in the paranormal. So we were talking a little bit before this show, and we were talking about a residential case you're just doing, which turned out pretty well. So I know you can't tell us a lot about that because of the confidentiality stuff, but tell us a little bit, because there was some interesting things you did tell me about that happened with a prior team coming in and stuff like that. And it's something that happens a lot in this field. And usually you got to come in and try to calm things down, take another look at it. So tell us again what you kind of ran into with your kids.
Okay. You took the case.
Okay. So I was contacted by a friend of mine who also runs public tours in her haunted location. She had gone to this family and took the initial, the case. And she wasn't in the home long until she ran out saying that there were multiple demons in the home and saying that she was sick. She couldn't go back. And it's like a very dangerous house. So she asked if I would, contact the client and see what we could do to help her, but she was never setting foot back in that home again. So we reached out to the client and she told us everything, what had happened when the other investigators were there, what she felt was going on. There were things like she felt like things were climbing on her, like mice.
Yeah, mice.
You could actually see the indentations on her clothing. Yeah, it was really weird. But some of the things she told us was she takes in people sometimes and lets them live in the basement to get, I guess, to save money, before they go out on their own. And she has a son that lives there who is coming off of an addiction. Just a lot of different things. Their home actually burnt down in 2011, and they rebuilt on top of the property. So she just had a lot of things going on there, different things, but we had to make her feel at ease because of the mention of demons in her home. We all know that that's far in between, but it can happen. So I made a plan that we would see her, take another team in with us who they could do a house blessing. And then I also had backups just in case things didn't go the way I had planned, that if we have to get further help, I already had it lined up for the client.
Good. All right. Yeah.
Turned out pretty good.
Yeah. So, but I remember you telling me, like, somebody had been in there before, right? And they told, like you said, they tell them that demons in there and all this crazy stuff. And that happens a lot. I mean, we run into cases like that quite often where people have had somebody else in. They're like, they told me I got a demon in here and I don't know what to do and blah, 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 blah. And they didn't know what to do about it. And they just came in and gave me evidence and left. And like, yeah, okay. Well, it's probably not a demon, number one, because they're few and far between.
Yeah.
And then when you got to come in and you got to calm things down for people. And you guys
was their main concern.
Great job. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big concern.
Yeah. And in fact, the son, he was like furious because he's like, she came in, she said it, and now she left us here with it, she didn't do anything. And I'm like, well, we're gonna fix it, just calm down and
right.
We'll get it taken care of.
Right, because it's probably not what they said it was anyway. Very rarely is.
He wound up very anxiety. He was thinking we were going to film him, so he basically wore like a face mask almost.
Yeah.
And then when I explained to him, we're not filming you, and we wouldn't do that if you didn't want it, he calmed down a lot. So
right. Yeah, I never film people without their permission.
Right.
Type of thing. And you're not filming it because a lot of people think you're coming in filming for a TV show or something like that. It's like, no.
It's a show thing.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. We have to collect evidence, so we've got to have some cameras to use in case we capture something. Yeah. To figure out what's going on. So yeah, a lot of people don't understand that too. They see so much of the TV stuff, they think everything's for TV. Yeah. They think every team they come out there is about doing TV. And
don't forget about it.
Yeah. Like no, it's not. It's not. It's much usually more, all you're doing is collecting data and seeing if you do capture something, whether it's on audio or video or whatever you use, an SLS camera or whatever, but well, I think just a lot of people think every paranormal team is doing TV, and that's not true, and even if it was for TV, you'd have to have the written permission and all this stuff, and because nobody can do that without, networks and stuff can't do anything without written permission from these people. So, so yeah, but it is another thing that's scary for people. They think their face is going to be all over the place, it's like, no, it's not what we're here to do. We are literally here to try to help you, it's not about TV at all. Forget it.
Exactly. Yep. And we have contracts and forms we have them sign stating about, audio and video and disclosures about their name and their locations and things like that. So we make sure we cover their privacy.
Yeah. Somebody brought up and you have to ensure their privacy and it's and your own safety and stuff like that too.
Oh yes.
So I gotta bring this up because somebody brings it, but I want your opinion what you really think whoops, wrong one. I think it was Barry says probably just malevolent spirits. Now, what do you really think was going on there? Was there a spirit there that was causing some issues, or was it just the energy of the place and the stuff that was going on?
With the background that we learned when we got there, I suspected they weren't telling us the truth. Not the whole truth. They were hiding something. But once I talked to the lady, there was guests staying in the basement that were doing rituals of some sort, There were candles. There was leftover like drug paraphernalia and stuff like that there.
Yeah.
So I think all of that came into the home.
Right.
I don't think it was like malevolent or anything. I just think it was like a lot of really bad energy.
Yeah.
And once she did everything I asked her to do, as far as, making sure her son gets some help, getting rid of the tenants. They got to go, they're disrupting her home.
Right.
And everything just seems to died down. Yeah.
Yeah. That's and that's how you have to address it sometimes. Sometimes it is just an energy.
Right.
It's just all that negative energy that's been put into the house, and you got to clear that energy out. Sometimes it's not even a spirit, and it can have nothing to do with one. So
I mean, we saw shadows and things. I mean, some freaky things were happening in there, but
energy
is energy.
Yeah, the thing about those,
we were in the basement. Go ahead, Jack.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was just going to say,
we were in the basement.
Is they can create they can sometimes create a spirit of some kind. It's not really a true spirit. It's what am I trying to say? It is, Carly. It's a thought form. Mm-hmm. So you can have a negative thought form that's created from these types of hauntings. Okay. Go ahead, Jerry. You're in the basement. Go ahead. I keep it.
Oh no, it's just the son came down in the basement with me and Melissa and one of the other team members, and when we told him speak to the air, tell it to stop, and you want it to leave, and once he got boisterous, the heaviness went down, and he just started kept telling it, leave, I don't want you here, we don't want you here. It was weird because shit. Melissa was using the flashlight. I had a millimeter beside it. And when it answered with flashlight, the temperature dropped like 2.5 degrees.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
And 15 minutes we were there, it dropped about 8 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So
that's pretty significant. Yeah. In that particular case, I mean, maybe there was a spirit down in there that was left from the people doing stuff down there.
Right.
But just doing that can get it out too. But again, it's just another type of energy, that's drawn in there. And some of these people that do these rituals call on certain types of spirits. They're not necessarily demons or demonic or anything like that, but they call on certain type of spirits to do their bidding for them, which usually doesn't end well. But but they can linger, and their energy can linger, and you can get it out by being the homeowner and telling it you don't want it here. It's not welcome.
Right.
Get out. Sometimes just that works, and which is pretty interesting. Because it shows the power of your own control, of your own will,
Right.
Yeah, and the intent, Carly, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Yeah, he felt a little weird talking to air. I said we do it all the time. It's okay. And once he got into it went well.
Yeah. It's okay to talk to nothing in the dark. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, that's what we told him. He kept saying, will you leave, please? I'm like, don't ask it. Don't ask it a question. Demand it,
Yeah.
He did great. And I think that helped them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. It also empowers them,
Yes. Yeah, they did
good. That is very helpful. And I think about all that, and I think about how you guys and us met for the first time.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah, which was, it wasn't similar to that, but we met you at, oh my God.
The Fort
Mifflin.
Fort Mifflin, yep.
Yeah. And we were doing the event down there, and you got talking to us, and you had an attachment.
Yes, I did.
From somebody else, right? Somebody came in and...
It was a place you went to, right?
Oh, it was Lois from Waverly Hills.
Yes.
Yes.
Put her on her plane and ship her right back.
Well, I said that, and Jack, you don't need to take her back to Kentucky. We're going to put her on a plane and send her back herself.
The airport was right nearby. Why not?
So it was funny.
Yeah. So here we meet these two people for the first time, and what do? We drag them behind another building and do a cleansing on them. It's like,
it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Except probably people were going, what are those 4 people doing behind that building over there? We're just smoking weed, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But I still waving it around.
The sage going and everything else. Yeah.
It worked.
Going and everything. It did work. But also you did the same thing. You took control and said, look, I don't want you here. You're not allowed.
Right.
And it works. It does work. But it's just, I always thought that was a funny story about how we met you guys for the first
time. I know.
We've been friends ever since, which is pretty cool. You never know
Ever
how you're going to
since.
meet people, especially in this field. You never know how you're going to meet people, how you're going to run into people.
Right.
And it's just pretty cool. And then, you guys are doing great with a lot of stuff. You got a ton of stuff going on. Tell us a little bit about what else you got going on.
Go ahead.
Me? Okay.
She done all that work.
Well, we're in the process of buying a home. So we are very busy at the moment. We are the resident team over at Boobies Brewery. And Carly,
Boobies.
it's called Boobies.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No.
It's okay. I called it boobs all my life because
Yeah.
English is
I
not my
can't say
strongest
boobies.
language right now.
It is boobies.
Boobies.
It's German.
I'll remember it now.
So we run 2 public investigations for the public. Like I said in our beginning there, we allow them to use our equipment. We instruct them that it is their investigation. We're there to help them. We'll get them started. If there's no activity going on, we go in and we start trying to pull it out for them.
Yep.
The spirits over there are very talkative. This is a German brewer from
Bavaria.
where?
Germany.
Okay. It's like a little village in Germany called Bavaria.
That's what they call Germany
Yeah.
back
Oh, okay. History lesson. Well, he came over to the United States to avoid the military draft.
Right.
So when he got here, he met his wife, Pauline, who was also an immigrant from Germany, and they went on to have 5 kids. Well, these 5 kids also had children who lived in that home. Some were schizophrenics, and the other one, I believe the boy was he had mental issues.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of the other things. I mean, there was growing up in this area and being over there at the brewery while we were like in high school, you would always see or hear claims about a lady in white and a lady in red. Well, we found out that the lady in red is Mrs. Pauline Booby, and the lady in white is actually the granddaughter who was a schizophrenic.
Yes.
So she's seen in the place. Mrs. Booby is. Aloise is very prominent in his gentleman's club.
Yes.
And then his son-in-laws ran the brewery and the central hotel that's attached to it. So there's a lot of family there, and they're anxious. They like to tell their stories, especially
a lot of the same names.
Yes.
No, very cool.
Yes.
Several Carls, Paulines.
It's hard to figure out though, because you think you're talking to one, then the next minute you're talking to another one, and then they run down to the catacombs to see what those people are doing. Then they come the whole way back up to the ballroom, and it's hard to get definitive answers.
We
from
do
them.
have one spirit that Melissa pulls out, and I'll let her tell the story.
Oh, Ani.
Tell her how we found out her age, which was the coolest part.
Okay. So Ani was the 4th child of Aloise and Pauline. She passed away when she was 28 from the Spanish flu, but she came back as a 10-year-old little girl. So we were told from the owners that the ballroom was once the residential quarters for the family. And the one hallway where there are now 2 bathrooms used to be the little girls' bedrooms. And that there is a little girl who stays back there and she doesn't want to come out. The claim is that she was afraid of men. So we don't let our men go near her without permission. And I usually go back and get her to come out. Well, the first night we were talking to her, we must have sat and talked to her about a half an hour.
Yeah.
And she told me through flashlights, motion sensors, cat balls, and cat balls, that the claims were said that Ani was abused as a child. What kind of abuse? I have no idea. Was she abused or punished? I don't know.
It was the late 1800s.
Right.
Right.
So we talked to her, and she told me she was abused. She told me who, but I promised that I wouldn't say.
Right.
Because there's living relatives of the Booby family. So I didn't want to, I don't want to. She also told us her age, and we asked her to light up the cat ball as many times as her age, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And And we said, you light it up and we'll count. And when you get to your age, we want you to stop lighting up the ball. Yeah. Okay. This little girl lit that cat ball up 10 times. Yeah. And then she stopped.
And used the flashlight.
Wow.
Yep.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
You know, those cat balls actually really work. I never would have thought of it before, but I've seen it in multiple places now, and they actually do work. Yeah, if you guys are looking for something cheap that can spirits can interact with, those damn little $1 store cat balls.
Absolutely, yeah.
They
light up.
Work.
Absolutely,
we got
they actually do work. Yeah, it's amazing what can work. Actually, you know, it's kind of funny. Yeah. You know, and they're $1 at the dollar. I think 2 for $1 dollar store or something like that.
Right.
So it is funny. We do have a question for you. This is going to go back to, I think, the residential case, but our friend Steve White had a question. I'm just going to put it up here. He goes, do you know any of the past history of the home? And that goes back to the residential case as where I think he's going back to with that.
Yeah.
So did you guys find out any history of the home before you went and investigated the residential case there?
I did look into it. It's hard in our area because it's in Amish country. And it's real deep southern Lancaster County here. Yeah. So we're talking woods everywhere. Yeah.
It's a creepy road.
It is a creepy road. We do know that there was Indian burial grounds somewhere, or like a graveyard somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
And we also know that the home burnt down and then they built on top of it. Yeah. But other than that, they didn't really give us, everybody's just like long-time residents down there, you know. Yeah. Really couldn't find anything on the specific area.
Mm-hmm. And that's hard because it's not really like a well-populated area, you know.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's a house.
This is a place where they have barrels in their yards and they're burning trash, you know, and no one's around for miles. So.
Yeah. So sometimes it's hard to get a lot of history on a place too, but you know. Mm-hmm. But Steve did have a question, so I wanted to address that. And
we had another residential where we did some research before we went there. This was a couple months ago, and there was actually like 8 murders in that particular area and on that street within 8 years' time.
Small little town.
Wow.
Yeah, so that they were pretty busy with as far as what could have been in the area.
But none of that had to do with what was going on.
No,
none at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't, right? I mean, that's the way it is. Sometimes it has nothing to do with what's going on. Here's another question from Bob Burnell. Do you think people bring in attachments and end up leaving them there due to stronger spirit? In other words, can another spirit, if you go into a place, can another spirit kind of keep that other spirit there, that attachment there with you?
Well, it's funny you said that because in this residential case, the guest who were staying in the basement was also friends with the son that lived there. And the son actually brought it into the home after being with this individual outside of the home. So then once he got back in, there were 2 other spirits there who I'm not sure if they lived there or died there, but there was 2 of them there. They were like nasty when they were alive, and they're nasty when they're deceased. Yeah. And I don't know if those 3, I don't know. I don't know. I do think though that, you know, people can bring them in and other people can jump. I don't, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. I mean, it does. Yeah, it does. They can, you can have an attachment on you and bring it in and it'll jump to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, or sometimes it'll jump even to a location. You know,
that's true too. Yeah.
Yes. So that does make sense, and
and I think that's might have what
Bob's
happened.
Question there. Yeah, and that just hopefully that answers Bob's question there. I do know, like, they do. I have heard people talk like with the Hinsdale house, like somebody can go in with a spirit attachment and they'll leave without it because the house just sucks it up.
Hey,
the house keeps things there with it. Yeah,
we're going there in August.
I don't know.
Oh, it's an awesome place.
I've heard that from people that they've gone in, knowing they'd had an attachment. When they left there, it was gone. It's like
have you been there before?
No.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
It's our first. Yep, in August we're going, the whole team. So we're excited about that.
Yeah.
You have
No.
a Native American heritage in your family, right?
Yes.
You need to go to the prayer tree, okay? And you need to like spend some time investigating the prayer tree then.
Yeah, it's up
Okay.
the hill. Yeah, it's up
Up
the
the
hill in the
hill.
back behind the house. Yeah, it's
I think-
pretty good. It's a cool location. If you've never been there, really cool location. Really nice place actually too. I mean,
Awesome.
when you get there during the day, I mean, there's a beautiful pond there and everything else, and you know,
Mhm.
it's really done a lot of work to keep it up and fix it up. So
Oh yeah, I've
it's-
seen his work.
Yeah, Dan's done a whole lot. Anytime he's doing like a fundraiser for it, I always help donate to it because I know the money's going back to the place.
Oh, absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah, and Barry's got a question. It's actually about the Holderman Mansion. He goes, so I'm just trying to remember: is the Holderman Mansion in Bainbridge, Pennsylvania, or where?
Yes,
You know,
it is.
where is it? It is.
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
There you go. Even I couldn't remember that. I knew it's in Pennsylvania. I know it's not far from 6 Mile Island there or whichever. It is.
Yes.
Yeah. Whew. No wonder it's got spirits. That place glows in the
Oh.
dark.
Yeah, we got plenty of weird stuff.
Yeah. No, we do have an announcement to make though about the Haldeman.
Yes.
We haven't like this is the first time we're talking about this actually.
Yes.
The Holderman Mansion is no longer a paranormal hotspot.
Nope.
Oh. Okay.
They have done some renovations, and the spring kitchen or the summer kitchen is now being used as a little coffee shop
For the
Oh,
community.
okay.
for the community. And so there are no more planned paranormal events here at the mansion.
Oh, that's too bad.
I know. We had to
Yeah.
close. We had to cancel a few events in April.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Some
too bad.
political things were happening.
Political
But,
Hey,
stuff.
that's usually what happens. That's usually what happens with places. There's
Mhm.
somebody gets
Yeah.
it that doesn't believe in this stuff, doesn't want anything the place to be associated with it, and they dump
right.
it. The interesting is there's a lot of interesting spirits there. There was a lot of activity there, and it was a good location. And
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to investigate it a couple times.
Yeah. I
You know.
know. It's a shame. We had a lot of people asking about it. So,
Yeah.
and I had to
Well,
turn
that's
them
all
away.
right.
We
Those
had a
people in
lot
the
of people-
coffee. Yeah, those people in the coffee shop will be having some activity, I'm sure.
But Jack and Carly, Boobies Brewery, please.
Yes.
You got a room to
Boobies
stay
Brewery. Yeah.
and a
I go-
bar and food. All
Yeah.
in
Go
one.
down for the food and the spirits and some other spirits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to come down. We'll have to come down for that. But that's too bad about Holderman Mansion. It was a cool place.
I
And
know.
it happens a lot. I mean, a lot of these places they change hands. And
Yeah,
they
it's nothing
decide to
new.
move away from it. But you know what? Eventually I find like after a few years, it changes hands again and somebody else wants to get back into it.
Right.
So yeah, it's just the way it is. It's just the
And
way.
we had fun. We raised them a lot of money last year, even though COVID hit.
Yeah.
So we're pleased with what we did. And we're just moving on now. So
We are actually helping Sam Allen, who owns Boobies Brewery. With COVID, it's struggling.
Yeah.
The bar,
yeah.
restaurant, and he's happy with us, so we're happy with him. He's a great
Yeah,
guy.
absolutely.
You need to
Yeah,
come
and-
check us out.
Yeah, we'll definitely come down and check it out ourselves for sure. We'll have to maybe just come down and do something with you guys and with that.
Yeah, that'd be
Pretty
great.
cool.
yeah, just come on down.
Okay, so our friend
The penthouse
Go ahead.
suite,
Oh, yes, Carly, listen.
Carly, listen, hon. The penthouse suite. I don't know if you've seen the videos that were circulating about a month ago when we had a private group there. But one of the guests, one of the paranormal guys, was on the stripper pole that's in the penthouse suite.
I was on it too, Jack.
nice.
So I think Mustafa was he was challenged for his event coming up in May to see if he can do better on the pole.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I
Oh
don't
my
think
God.
I'll attempt it. I might hurt myself.
Oh, Jerry did. He was swinging on the pole.
I did.
Oh, my back can't do that. No, my back would just snap in two. That'd be the end of it. I'd be done. I'd be done.
It was fun.
We have
She's
so many
picturing
like,
that right now. That's what she's picturing it in her head.
Hey, get on and look at the pictures. We got strobe lights, we got disco balls, and a stripper
Woohoo.
pole. We got it all
Wow.
at Boobies Brewery.
Awesome.
Nice wall
Awesome,
bed. Oh,
cool.
yeah. It's really
I'm just
cool
picturing
place.
I'm just picturing Jack in his haunted wig like spinning around the pole.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Jack.
Yeah, my haunted wig. That's a whole nother thing.
It's some back
And
joke.
Steve, I gotta say, Steve White, if you didn't want me to know that you picked up the haunted wig, you should not have posted it in the chat tonight. I do read all of them, Steve. So you blew that one. That's a whole other thing. It's a whole other thing.
Oh,
We have another question from our friend MJ, and she's asking, this is actually a good question. When you look into history of homes, how do you do the research? The only reason I ask is because her job is in abstracting. I do searches on the history of property ownership. So
That's exactly what we do. Yeah, we go into the archives. We go back as far as we can to find out previous owners. If we can find neighbors, the history of the land. We try to find, maybe there's still people living there, from when the previous owners were there. We do a lot. We dig in deep before we even go there. So ruling out everything one step at a time.
Yep.
Right. I see. I'm just looking down the list here. Oh, okay. Here's another question from Steve. Here's an optical question. Just curious, can a spirit be attached to two different things at the same time, meaning an object and a living person? Your thoughts?
That's yours.
My thoughts? I wouldn't see why they couldn't be.
Good
I don't know. I've never had that question before. That's a good one, Steve. I like that.
Good one, Steve.
Yeah.
I would think so.
I don't know.
Carly, what are your thoughts? And I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on that and how it connects to a theory of mine.
Okay.
Well, I don't think we've ever come across someone being attached to multiple different objects, but and a living person. But the way I visualize attachments, or the way it can be visualized, is like a cord, like an umbilical cord that's attached from the spirit to the object or the person. So when an attachment is being removed, that process, you want to make sure that you pull that cord, not tear it, not cut it. You pull it to remove the entirety of that connection, and then fill the hole back up with like white light and positivity. So I assume that you can. I mean, you can have multiple cords. I mean, everything's interweaved in the universe. Everything's connected. There's multiple different strings connected to everything. So I believe that you can have multiple connections, especially if they had a connection to it in like when they were in their body. I think so. So
yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Now here's this actually goes along with my theory. I called it the Voldemort theory. Okay. Most people know, like, Voldemort, when he killed somebody, he'd leave part of his soul in different places, right? Attached to different things. Okay. Even a person, which in Harry, right? So my point is that I think when we're really attached to something, we're close to something, we leave part of our soul, part of who we really are behind. It's not our whole soul. It's part of us. So it is possible that you could have the same soul attached to, let's say, this glasses case. And also they could be part of them left in the building itself, and they could become an attachment to somebody who came to visit because they connect to that person in some way.
Okay.
So, but that's the theory of you only leave part of yourself behind in locations. And my actual theory came up because of a Ghost Adventures show that I saw, believe it or not, where the guy was working for this guy who owned this restaurant bar place, and the guy would always be touchy-feely with him and stuff like that. And the guy ended up murdering him in his basement, the basement of the building. So he murdered the owner, who was always touchy-feely with him. And it was in a fit of rage at the moment, pushed him to the edge. Now, the guy's in jail. Okay, he went to jail. He's in jail. But people see an apparition of him, the murderer, in the basement. He's not dead, though. But they see an apparition of this guy who's a murderer in the basement. So that's where my theory comes out of, something that either was strong energy or something that happened that you left an imprint there, that you left part of yourself behind.
Right. And I just said that to our client Saturday night.
Yes.
The same exact thing.
Yeah.
Another place that supports that is the Lizzie Borden house.
Okay.
And
Correct.
and the Maplecroft house. So
Right.
there's two different variations of the same spirit in different locations. So in the Lizzie
Wow.
Borden house, she goes by Elizabeth or Lizzie. In the Maplecroft house, she goes by Lisbeth.
Oh,
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
two completely different time periods. So
Yes.
before and during the murders, and then after the murders.
Okay.
So it's
Wow.
like
Both
two
places
different
were
types
obviously
of
right. And both
same
places were
spirit, just different
yeah.
Right.
Both
people,
places were
I
very
guess,
important to her in one way or another, right? I mean, they were
Right.
significant in
Yeah.
her life.
Wow.
One for more positive, one for more negative, obviously. But she left part of herself in each one of those locations. So
Wow.
again, I don't think it's
That's
your whole
pretty
soul.
cool.
I think it's part
That's
of your
cool.
soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is this is a theory I have, and I
Yes,
will
that's
throw
what we
this
like
out.
talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
learned
well,
so much.
I'll yeah. You always have to have a theory. Everybody's got a theory, right?
Oh, yeah.
Whether you can prove it or not. And Bob Maloney just wants to say he's glad he made it to the Haldeman Mansion before they stopped doing it. And his son actually, his son actually caught a really cool photo of an apparition in the upstairs window on the back side of the building, between the it was the main building in the back, because they told me, they showed it to me. I'm like, yeah, it looks like somebody's standing in the window, but they're kind of like transparent.
Oh, yeah.
So I went up to the, I think it's third floor or second, whichever floor it was. And I stood in that window and I couldn't quite match it. It was a little bit taller than me,
Okay.
but it looked completely different.
Right.
You could see me in the window. So he said,
think
well,
it's
if there was somebody else who was up there, you would see them just as clear as you see me. But this thing was looking out the window and it was probably about 6 foot, and looks staring at the window. It's cool. It's a great piece of evidence he's got. And
That's great.
so there's some really cool stuff that came out of there that people will never forget. They had these experiences, they'll never forget them. So Bob says they're glad they got there, and I'm glad they did too.
I'm glad he was here too.
Yeah, him, his son, and Carl Mitchell, and there's a few others and stuff. We dragged them out, and they did okay.
Yeah, you did. They
had a good night. I see. I'm just looking for any other question. Barry's bringing up there looks to be a Holderman Island across Bain Bridge in the Susquehanna. Is that true? There's a Holderman? Did they own the island then at one time?
I'm not sure. That I can't find whether they owned it or not.
Right.
I can't. So I don't know.
I didn't find it.
Usually, if a name's attached to it, usually that means the family owned it at one time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And we'll assume they did. I know now there's they use it for hunting.
Yeah.
But wild animals, like wild boars and stuff like that, they put these animals on this island, and then people can pay to go hunt these animals out there.
Oh, so they did this. Well, this is more recently. Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we got an island down by us in Rensselaer. It's in the Hudson, and a lot of people hunt there for deer. It's just deer hunting. There's no exotic animal type of stuff. But it was owned by a family, and their house is still out there. And it's kind of really like their summer home. And so they have to be careful because they have people end up wandering into their property who come across to hunt. And so it's like, and I knew the family. I knew who the family was. I won't mention names, but I knew who the family was. And they were always pretty cool people. But they still have the house out there. They got the summer home out there, and they own the island. Nice. Part of the island they sold. The state bought it and started doing experiments with raising different types of corn that were more resilient to different types of diseases and stuff like that. So they were doing experimental, raising of corn. So there's another reason you had a lot of deer out there. The deer would actually swim over to the island to go get the corn. Yeah.
Wow.
There's only one road out. There is only one road out there, but they usually block it. Like you got to have permission to get in there. But
see all this history.
Yeah, it is, and it's just another one that the whole family owned that island for the longest time, and they still do. They still own part of it. So
you can actually see the island from my window.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Oh yeah.
And
if you look far enough, you can see the other island glowing up in the distance. So.
Yeah, you can see the stack.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I number one, the first time we were out there, I totally forgot that was right there. So I'm like, that's a nuclear power plant. What the hell nuclear power plant is that? And I'm like, and then you told me, Jerry, and I'm like, holy shit, yeah, that's right.
I
was surprised it was still.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was surprised it was still. It's not functional, but I was surprised there's still people there working it. And you told me they monitor it. They keep it monitored.
Yeah, they shut it down in 2019.
Yeah,
but
but they still have to monitor it.
Yeah.
There was a meltdown in 1979.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That was the one that was all over the news. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That
we
poor
had to evacuate.
Inundated. Yeah.
Yeah, we were there.
It was inundated.
Yes, we're that old, Carly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. We all. I remember watching that on the news.
I remember
no younger than Jack, though. A little bit.
That was so cool. I remember learning about that in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
they teach
in my tech class we learned about the nuclear power. So the 3 Mile Island was one of them. The other one over in Japan, because this was when the tsunami came and hit the Japan ones, and the whole meltdown and everything. So that's when they decided to teach people about nuclear power plants in school.
Wow. I knew they were teaching that.
So when we drove by, I was like the next time when we saw the sign, I was like, oh my God, I learned about that in school. It was so cool. It was really cool. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do still learn about it. They still teach about it. Yeah. It was a significant part of our history,
Oh yeah.
We almost had a freaking complete meltdown. It was blew shit up.
Almost.
It was our own Chernobyl.
Almost, yeah. We had a guy I went to high school with. His father sings a lot around here for the locals, and his father and him and his I believe it was his other brother made a song about that back in like maybe 1980. It was called Radiation Funk. So it's pretty cool. I even have the 45 record of it still. So
oh my God.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the old 45s. Oh my God.
Oh, 45.
Careful, we're really aging ourselves now.
I know.
Hurley's like, what's a 45? Isn't that a gun of some kind?
Not a gun.
It's a little tiny record, a big hole in the middle.
And you use little plastic things to hold it on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the little plastic clip things. Yeah, I remember that. Steve White's got another question for us. He says, what are your thoughts on Native American shape-shifting, and have any of you ever witnessed something like this? I could say no, I've never witnessed anything like that. What about you guys? Then we'll get into the rest of it.
We went to Trans-Allegheny, little Tala. They call it Tala. It's in West Virginia, and we actually were on the 4th floor. And there was something crawling on the ceiling there. It was shape-shifting. So that was pretty interesting to see, being that I've never seen anything like that before.
None at the Holderman.
Yeah, that could potentially be what we call an elemental spirit.
Right. Now I knew there was one in there when we went, because Nick Groff and Katrina Weidman saw it on that floor. But I didn't know which floor it was on.
Right.
So when we got there and our tour guide was with us, she's like, Melissa, what are you feeling? Because I must have had this look on my face. And I'm like, there's something here with us. I said, it's like there, but it's over here too. It was like the form of a man behind us, but this creature in front of us.
Interesting.
It was the creepiest thing I've seen, but it was also cool too, because I've never seen anything like that.
I've seen some weird shit, but I never thought anything shapeshift. I've never seen that happen. What about you, Kelly? You've seen some really strange stuff in your days too.
Well, I mean, with my history, I mean, not with the residential cases. We've never seen anything.
No, but your own history. I mean, just yourself.
I mean, that's a given.
To me, I don't know. Is that what that would have been?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of
could have been
kind of like what do you call it? Like myths or stories, or legends or tales of different creatures that you could look into, and different like you have it really depends of the area. So Native American. You
Right.
also have like Asian cultures, which also depict similar kind of creatures as well, or elementals. You you'd really just have to like go down to just the legends or tales of people that people used to say,
Right.
because they do have some truth to them,
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah,
it
we
could be
have
thought
one
of.
down here at Chickies. They blasted through a mountain and it's called Chickies Rock, Chickies Hill now. And the legend back there, the myth or the legend was the Albert witches. Did you ever hear of those?
No.
Albert witches. I call them Albert witches, but it's Albert twitches, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's this 6-foot creature that people back in the 60s used to see back on the trails. And it would actually take the picnickers, their apples, eat them, and then throw the cores back at them while they were picnicking. And
It's
people
like
have seen it.
It's 6-foot stick figure is basically what they say. And
Oh.
apple cores and throws the cores away. That's a legend.
It's a legend. But
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
it's
right,
yeah.
you never know.
It's a local legend, yeah.
It is. And Rick Fisher,
you don't know.
he's pretty good around here. He has an annual festival for it. So it's pretty cool.
Cool.
It's different.
It's different.
Urban legend.
Urban legend.
Urban legend. We have a question from Briar Rose, who she says she met me out in Vermont at an event I did up there one time. I think I remember who she is. It's been a long time since I did those events up in Vermont. But she has a question. Have any of us investigated in Vermont? And if so, where and what was your experience? So I think she's kind of like curious. Is there any place up where I live that's good to investigate?
I don't know. Tell me.
I've actually never investigated in Vermont. Oh, I'd actually never have investigated in Vermont.
We have not been anywhere north of New York yet. So we haven't been.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. You never know. It's always good to ask. But if anybody out there has investigated a place in Vermont, please let Briar know. Let her know what you've done and what you've been. I have not. I know some people who do and have, but I can't remember the locations they've been to or anything like that. Carly, I don't think you've ever been.
Right. And let us know too if you find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's we got a long question from Barry. From Barry Martz. This is from Barry Martz.
Oh, Barry.
I'm not sure what he's referring to. I don't even know if it's for us, but I'm going to put it up here. Can you describe the catacombs there? How much is man-made? Do you know? I'm not sure this was really for us, or he was talking to somebody else in the thing.
Well, you mentioned catacombs earlier, right, Melissa?
Oh,
yes.
You did. Okay.
Yep.
So it is to us. Okay. Can you describe the catacombs there? How much of it is man-made? Do you know what the stone is there in the catacombs? Could there be a little bit of
Anthracite.
What's that? Anthracite. Coal mine there. I know Northeast Brainbridge and Rich coal. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'll let you answer his question there. So what do you know about the catacombs? Can you describe them? That's the biggest thing he wants to.
I believe the only thing that was man-made in the catacombs was them just drilling the rock out. It was all rock.
Oh.
So they just drilled out, and that's basically where Alois put his ice. 42 feet under. What we do know is, I'm not sure of the rock, but I do know there's a water that ran through there right beside it. I have to find out about the stone. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think the ghost tour guy said limestone, but that's just what he said. I don't know what truth it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether that's true or not. Usually if they're like drilling into something, it's because they want something out of there, right? I mean, usually the only time you're going to mine something and create like a catacomb is because you want whatever material is in there out of there. Because that's worth something. Otherwise, it's not worth digging the hole. So it's like, let's just dig a hole to dig a hole. All right, whatever.
It's pretty much there's an upper level and a lower level. The upper level is the last before you go down underground. It's shaped kind of like a tunnel. The catacombs are. And then you have the barrel room sitting off to the side where Alois would add like his special ingredients for his lager beers.
Yeah, there's barrels all over the place.
The everything's stone. It's just a stone tunnel. And then when you go down It's 43 steps, wooden steps to get downstairs. Yeah. And there's no Wi-Fi down there. There's nothing. You're totally under, and it's still shaped like that tunnel, like a cave. But underneath that flooring is actually the tunnels to Mount Joy.
Through Mount Joy.
Yes, through the town that it's in.
Oh, he was the only one at the time had any plumbing in Mount Joy at that time. So a lot of people went there. So you had a great operation. Beer, food.
Wow.
Plumbing.
Yeah.
And the railroad was right beside him.
In the mailroom. Hey, even better.
Yeah.
It's like his whole town just to himself.
He pretty much did. He owned a couple other properties in town also.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
He's a businessman.
Well, that's usually how a lot of towns, small towns started. Somebody moved in and started creating a small town and usually owned it for a long time, you know?
Right.
That's how a lot of towns or with groups of people, you know, settlers and stuff like that, you know. And Bob Burnell has a question for us. He says he just got an FU in an EVP recently. Have you ever experienced bad mouth spirits before? Yes, many times on the USS Constitution. For 2 nights, we were only there 2 nights, right? And that's Old Ironsides out in Massachusetts, Charlestown, Mass. But yeah, sailors always have filthy mouths. We got a lot of like stuff like that.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Oh yeah, we've had our share.
Go ahead. I lost my sound again. Give me a second. I got to try to bring it back.
Carly. She's so cute.
Keep talking. I can start to hear you again.
Okay.
I can hear you guys. We just gotta wait for him.
Wait for me. Just keep talking. Just because
Jack.
Everybody else can hear you. I don't need to hear you necessarily.
What's
it only takes 2 seconds. I gotta fix it. I don't know.
What's the funniest EVP you guys have gotten?
Oh, funniest, yeah.
The funniest. I don't think it was ours, actually. It was Chris Hammond and Andy Andrews. They were here at the Haldeman.
Yeah.
And where they were at, it kept telling them, shut the F up or something like that and get the F out, and laughing at them and laughing. It was hilarious because they were like, did you just tell me to shut the F up?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. That is funny. That is funny.
Yeah. I was like, oh boy.
Oh, you'll keep that one.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Those are funny. We had it's always funny when they throw out the swear words because it's like, oh, okay, all right. Well, we're getting a little sassy here. Okay, I see. We had someone over at another location, and we think it was a sailor. It did refer like multiple like water EVPs about water and like staying safe in the water and all that. But it kept telling us to F off.
Wow.
And it was like this grumpy old man who was a sailor, and it used to be like an old like nursing home.
It was an assisted living home.
Yeah, assisted living home.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, you definitely have your grumpy, older men that don't want to be bothered.
And references, there was references to being a sailor in the ocean, stuff like that, and where it is actually. You go a little further and you've got West Virginia, stuff like that, down where then some of the naval bases are. So very good possibility they could have, been retired military and stuff, and they're living in the assisted living home now, not too far away. That could have been the town they grew up in or whatever. You know? And it wasn't all that long ago. You're only talking something that was back in the 80s, I think, in 1980s.
Wow.
Assisted living home. So these are, more recent, but
now, see, I love that. I love that when we're starting to get in our era, like the 70s and 80s. I think that is so cool.
Yeah, it is. It is because, those people are still there too, right? They're still
I agree.
And from everything I saw of the history of the place, and they even got still the flyers from it. It was a very nice assisted living home. It was very nice. Well, people were well taken care of, well kept, and then after that, it became a restaurant.
Oh, wow.
So, and now our friends own it as a bed and breakfast down there. So,
many room in the halls.
Yay! You know, it's a cool place. It's all I can tell you. And there's a lot of activity going on there, and it's a nice bed and breakfast too. So very cool place.
Okay.
That's yeah. Pam and Steve Barry own it down there.
I always say that we should just move to Pennsylvania because we always come back and forth there, and all our friends are over there. We should just move there.
We end up down there all the time. I drive down there last year. Well, even last year during COVID, we were down there like 4 times. I mean, before that, I was probably down there 6 or 7 times. So it's like, and even this year, we've already been down there, I think, twice already. So, you know,
we'll just move. That way we can just
move.
Come on down.
Eventually, something's gonna happen. Yeah, because I don't think I can stay in this state too much longer. Our taxes are way too high. Way too high. Oh, taxes are astronomical in New York. That's all I can tell you.
A lot of things are.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But New York's bad. New York is bad. It's just we got a tax on top of tax on top of tax. You know, it's like ridiculous. You know, and we got it from our Facebook user friend. I think we know who that is. Have you guys ever investigated the Mount Washington Hotel in New Hampshire? It doesn't say that, but it says it further down. I know where he's talking about. So as your president, I've never been to it. I have friends who went there, and they loved the Mount Washington Hotel when they investigated it. I'm not sure you can anymore, though. I'm not sure it's still open for investigations anymore. I know that was, it was big on when Ghost Hunters was first on, all those years ago. They investigated it. And they caught a lot of activity there, and a lot of places investigated it after, but I don't know if you can investigate it anymore. I haven't heard much about it in more recent times. But I haven't been there, but I do know it did have a lot of really good activity. And, for a friend who's asking there, if you do know there's an opportunity to investigate it, I wouldn't pass it up. I would definitely go. I mean, just based on personal people I know who have been there and had a good time.
Absolutely.
A lot of stuff. Yeah, it's a good place. It really is.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know if you're going. Maybe we'll go with you.
Yeah. Let us know. We'll come with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do don't often pass up something. I see. And that's most of our questions for tonight. And you know what? Somebody just pointed out we are getting close to our time. So is there anything you guys want to mention? Any events you got coming up at Boobies Brewery? See, even I did it.
Sorry.
Boobies Brewery. Anything else you want to mention or whatever you want to talk about?
We do have some events coming up. Like I said, it's usually the 2nd and 4th Saturdays we run the Publix. We have Daryl Marston and Mustafa Gadalori from Ghost Hunters. They'll be coming May 21st and 22nd. We have April, the psychic housewife of New Jersey, along with Mustafa again in June. And then in August, I believe we have Brian Murray and Rochelle. They're coming for the weekend for another big event.
Cool.
So we got 3 good lineups coming. They're from Flumery Promotions. You can get on their webpage and they have all the links to all the dates on there, or our Jotnik's Paranormal page on Facebook. Right. We have them there as well.
Awesome.
Hopefully we have Jack and Carly soon.
Yeah, who are they? I haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah, I know. Well, just invite me, they probably show up.
Yeah.
We'll crash.
I always wait for an invite, I'm not one of those people that just shows up on your doorstep and says, "Hey, here I am."
You guys have an open invitation. Anytime you want to join us.
Yeah.
You can come down. Yes.
Yeah.
I was just always taught be nice and be respectful and ask, make sure you're invited to go someplace before you go. That's how I was raised. So
yes, I know. Me too. You just don't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even with an open invitation, I'll call you ahead of time and say, "Hey, is this weekend good? Is it good?"
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
That I will do. Well, that I will do.
Okay.
So we'll be down. We will definitely be back, and we'll be down. And we want to appreciate you guys being on tonight with us. You're great guests on, and we love you, and we love you both, and we miss you.
Love you guys too.
And we'll get to see you again. You guys gonna be doing the bash this year?
I love you. What's that?
You guys gonna be doing the Battlefield bash this year?
I'm not sure. We're closing on our house in a couple weeks, and then with all the events we have in May, we're going to be moving probably in the beginning of June. I don't know.
Yeah.
No. All right,
don't
we'll
know.
see what happens. Anyways, we'll let you know when we're down anyway, and we'll
Yeah.
try
Oh
to
yeah, we'll get
visit you.
together while you're here if
Yeah.
you don't attend. Yeah.
And of course, we'll have to meet you at your new house once you're settled in, and
I got 3 bedrooms now.
Yeah.
give you
That's
a house
awesome.
warming. Give you a house warming. We'll bring down some wine and crackers. and
Oh, sounds
All right.
good.
Sounds good.
we'll just have it. We'll have a good hangout time, and
Works for
it'll be
me.
fun. All
I
right.
like
Well,
it.
all right, we love it too. So we'll
Yeah.
see you all again soon, and thanks for coming on tonight, everybody.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
we'll see you
Bye.
again soon.
Bye.
Bye
Love
bye.
yous.
So there we are, and we're gonna say goodnight to everybody. We thank you for coming out tonight, watching the show. If you're looking for any good books, you can find mine on BarnesandNoble.com, Amazon.com. Check them out. Just put in my name, Jack Kenna, and you can search, and they will all come up. So if we didn't get to your question tonight, I do apologize. We always try to get to everybody's, but we get a lot, so sometimes it's tough. Carly, any last words from you?
No, have a great day and make sure to stay happy and smile.
And if you want to catch us at any of our events, we'll be posting a lot more coming up here on my website page. It's jackkenna.org. That's Jack Kenna, all one word, .org. I will post that for you guys. But we have a lot of events coming up, and that's where you can always find out about them, or on my Facebook page. So thanks again, everybody. You all have a good night. Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.